feel compelled to make a few personal comments about the RA videos. I've worked with Michele over the last couple of years, and one of the things I was involved with was I was a member of a book group that she organized last year. And it was a group of 10 to 12 people who came together and talked about RA methodology and things we could maybe take to our classrooms. And we met just for 30 minutes a week for 2 quarters. And it seems amazing to me now when I think back upon it, how much that 30 minutes meant to me, because we did so many things and we were able to come up with so many different ideas in that amount of time. And I think that that's one thing I hadn't realized about RA, is it doesn't take a lot of time in your classroom, and it doesn't take a lot of time to learn how to bring it into your classroom. So it was very inspiring to be part of that group. I did take some of the ideas back to my multi-level ESL class at that time. That's what I was teaching. And I was really impressed with what the students did with some of the reading strategies that were brought into the classroom, and coming up with ideas and vocabulary that I think they would not have been able to do if I had not brought those ideas into the classroom. So I felt really inspired by that. In our book group, Michele had us work together the same as she would in her classroom, and had created a sense of community. Of course, many classes have a sense of community in them. This is not something brand new to RA. But the way that RA keeps going back to the text, going back to the text, and going back to the text one more time is something that is very special and unique. And Michele also brings the sense of personal responsibility into the class. So it's not just about letting other people do the work for you, but she had us be responsible to her for learning. And that balance between the personal and the community is really important. It's a really key aspect to the RA learning experience. And so I realized afterwards that I was able to bring in something really important that touched every area of learning into my classroom. And my students were really benefiting from this. The other thing I realized in the book group is that RA methods are not just for people who have trouble reading. It's for everybody, and it can make us all stop and think a little bit more about what we're reading and what we're doing when we're reading. So what I got out of that book, we read Seedfolk together, is just a treasure for me, because I hadn't really read that way in the past. And so it has changed myself as a reader as well. And I think that is something that was unexpected, and I think that it happened to everybody in the group. Michele is so spontaneous, and this was something that I saw in the book group, and again when I was filming her over and over. Her spontaneity and her joy brings a very special atmosphere to the classroom. And of course she is a master at reading apprenticeship, but this is something I think that many of us can aspire to and can bring bits and pieces of into our own classrooms. She reminds me of a Japanese koto master that I used to know when I lived in Japan. Her name is Sawai Kazue, and she's not known for playing super fast or anything really super difficult, but for taking the basic pieces that most people already know how to play, if you play koto, and looking at them and playing them with such intent and such feeling and personality that it brings people to tears. And this kind of stopping and doing, stopping in the everyday process of life and examining things in this sense is related to what RA is doing. And in this time of students having so many distractions and so many demands being put upon them at the same time, and so much material they have to learn, it's really ironic, but teaching the students to make a habit of stopping and looking at the material and seeing how they can get information out of the material and sharing the learning experience is a very important tool to give them. And I think this is what RA is all about. And it's something that's worth taking the time to learn about and to bring to your classroom, because it's going to pay off in so many different ways.